Three, two, one.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another show. How are you doing? Got some people already tuned into the stream, so thanks for being here with me. Hey, and a real cool message just to see first thing in the morning here. I just passed the first part of the $10,000 FTMO challenge, and I'm doing the verification challenge now. Hey, or verification now. Good for you, man. That's an awesome accomplishment. I think, did you mean the 100,000, by the way? I'm not too sure with FTMO, but I think that don't they do like a 50,000 account and then 100,000 or something like that? But either ways, it's a cool accomplishment. For the people who don't know what that means, a funding program like that, they'll put you through some sort of test. And if you pass the test, then the prize is that you get access to managing a larger, portfolio or profile in terms of money amounts. So sometimes they give you 100,000, or you can work your way up to like 500,000 plus. So kind of cool. Getting your hands on some capital like that can be a huge game changer for a lot of traders out there, especially people who don't naturally have, money in the bank that they can trade with just yet. So huge shout out to the real one in the chat for passing that FTMO challenge. Good stuff. Got some stuff to do, you guys. It's a busy day. Markets are really moving today. So we got some things to definitely look at and to talk about. We see, let's pop up the screen here. We've got some things going on the currency heat map. You've got the CAD moving hard, the New Zealand moving hard. You've got the Euro taking a dip here on some of the crosses. And then, of course, you've got that pound moving like crazy this morning, you guys. Anybody trading the UK currency, that pound out there? You can really see it's moving pretty hard on this. You also got the CAD moving quite nicely. I almost took a CAD Swiss trade again, you guys. I didn't take it though. You already know it. Sometimes you have to kick yourself a little bit for missing out on a trade, but it's all good. I did take one on the dollar CAD, however. I wanted to buy CAD Swiss and dollar CAD, but I ended up taking dollar CAD only, which is going quite well today. So you can actually see, if you take a look at USD versus the CAD, moving down nicely. So maybe we'll take a look at that, talk about the trade position that I'm currently in on USD CAD, and see what's going on there. Pound and Canadian are moving, which TF, as you know, if you watch the streams, those are the two currencies right now that I am most bullish on. I also like the New Zealand and the Aussie, but those two are my favorites. So took a short on the dollar Canadian last night. Things went really well so far. I'll pull that up at some point here in the stream. We'll talk about that trade setup just to give some ideas or some reasoning behind that. But I've been filming a lot of trade videos recently, and it's a weird thing. It's a weird phenomenon. For some reason, every video that I film a trade, it happens to be a winning trade. The last like 4 or 5 that I've done are winners. Maybe I should just film every moment of my trading, and then I'll never take a loss again. I think that's the conclusion. But in all seriousness, like, the losers will be coming. I don't want you guys to think, if you're watching my live trade videos, that I'm like only showing the winners. So just give it some time, and there will be some losers for you to make fun of me on as well. So don't even wait on that. But really, for some reason, the dollar CAD move, filmed it, and I was like, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, low key, can we get a loss so that we can make a video that's about a loss? And I'm not complaining though, because a win is a win, and it's great. So we'll talk about dollar CAD here in just a moment. Pull up that one and see what we can talk about that. Good call on USD CAD. Thank you, Hypeful. Nick, there was rumors that Bank of England would raise rates next year if unemployment recovers. Good. Yeah, and that's the whole idea, Ninja. Like, when an economy is looking really promising and like things are rapidly, improving in a certain economy, that is naturally what we see a lot of times. We see the central bank raise rates. So the rumors could come true at some point. And that is why, to some degree, when it comes to the Great British Pound, I am buying that rumor and waiting to see if we can get that news. Looking to buy the rumor, sell the news is a pretty common approach that I like to go for when it comes to fundamentals, using the idea of what's going on to try and capture some potential gains there on the realized news. Great point here. As Ezio says, we learn as much from losing. It's very, very true. And I honestly, like, from just a video perspective, I really like sharing losing trade videos because they teach everyone, myself included, some sort of lesson. I think it's a really good thing to talk about your losses and to face them head on and to really sort of understand why they're happening. But again, for some reason, I've been just on a hot streak right now, and I'm not gonna complain. I already know the losers are around the corner, so it's just one of those things. You just gotta mentally prepare yourself. But like I said, the big movers for the day are the CAD, the New Zealand, and the pound, which I like all three of these on the long side. So this is cool stuff for me. So we'll jump over to the charts and see what we can get ourselves into. Let's start here. We'll start at the top. We'll take a look at Euro USD here and see what's going on with the Euro today. Back down to support here, trying to see if buyers can hold this area. We actually kind of have to mark this now as supply. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remove that one, and we're going to just mark this area here as recent supply. So if we're looking at the euro against the dollar, you can kind of see. Let me see if I can zoom out and get this stretched. There we go. You can see here the euro dollar on the 1 hour chart this morning, pulling back to support. And this is the question for bulls. Can they hold this area properly, or is this thing going to finally start rolling over and start to see some more sell side? A big part of this is, of course, the US dollar. It's not just about the euro. Whenever we cross two currencies, we have to take into consideration both of the currencies. Right now, however, I'm pretty bullish on the euro and bearish on the dollar. So if anything, I think that there's is potential more upside. Things could continue to do well for the euro dollar. And when I'm looking at this, I view these pullbacks as possible, like I said, possible pullbacks. So an idea here being, if we get a dip down into this zone, maybe we find some fresh buyers. Each time that price has been in this area before, it's held pretty quickly for buyers. So again, just a question of, are the buyers still there? If they are, could be some great opportunities. Let me give you just a simple example of a setup that I could see myself looking at on the euro dollar. If things come down, give us a little bit more of a pullback here, things could look pretty good looking for something like this. That trade alone is only risking about 30 pips from a swing trading perspective. That is pretty minimal. And then, you have that potential upside that we've talked about, which is, this thing is forming higher highs. It's forming higher lows. It's looking pretty healthy, right? You've got the euro dollar pushing higher against or the euro pushing higher against the dollar here and still pushing in new highs here. So this is a healthy sign. And so this pullback, if it does hold, the cool thing is that risk reward looks pretty good for a potential higher high, which naturally does look like it could poke up into our target, which is 1.235. We've talked about that on stream. 1.234. This level here, that previous high of the year. So I expect that price on the euro dollar should go as long as the dollar doesn't get dramatically bullish for some reason. For now, I think that the euro dollar has more upside and is potentially set to retest those highs of the beginning of the year. Don't forget to like the stream, says Don in the chat. Do me a big favor, guys. If you enjoy the content, make sure to like it down below. It's free to do, and it really does help just to support the content and allows us to continue to put out stuff for free for you guys. So like the video, like the stream down below if you're enjoying it, and I'll make sure to keep coming back and hanging out with you guys in the future. We've got a bunch of shows coming up. We've got 2 more today after mine. So if you're not already subscribed to our second channel, we've got some really cool stuff coming. We have a new guest coming on today, and then we have Todd coming back this afternoon to do some scalping on the US 30. So that's kind of some exciting stuff. And I think Frank in the other room, he will like that because he used to, mess around with the US 30 when we were like experimenting with that. But the US 30 is a crazy volatile mover. What is it doing, by the way? We'll just pull it up for fun. We'll jump on this one just for a second, just to look at it. The US 30 is rallying higher today, showing us that stocks are doing okay for the time being. We did see some dips going on. We saw US 30 really pulling back here dramatically there, and then found support, double bottomed, kinda. It was an ugly double bottom, but you've got that double bottom there, and then price back here. So for the bulls out there, is Frank still in his trade? Frank, are you still in his oh no, S&P 500. So Frank closed out for a profit there on the S&P 500. I've got it pulled up on the other screen. But as far as the US 30 is concerned, we're at sort of a key spot here. So we see price tagging this level a few times, trying to poke through, not quite able to, but with this recent strength and this higher low, could be something like this in the books for the US 30 if you're watching that. But again, that is a very, very volatile currency pair. So stay tuned with that. So yeah, it's official lens coming on at 10 a.m., which is in just about 50 minutes on the secondary channel. She is really cool and I liked her content. So we're going to have her come on and do some analysis with us as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you're not subscribed to the second channel, there's a link in the description. It's the second link in the description. Click the link, subscribe to the second channel, and keep watching free stuff that is hopefully helping you guys. You already know, like, our goal as a company is to give you guys tons of free stuff that actually helps traders out there who are struggling and trying to figure this stuff out. Like that is our goal from the beginning. So if you want more stuff from us, there's a free second channel, like I said, with more webinars, coaching, calls, videos, and literally all of it is free. So take advantage. Okay, so that's US 30. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But again, watch for that break and retest. Could be some nice moves there for the US indices today. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that this afternoon. I will be watching as Todd takes a look at the markets from a scalping perspective, because it's something different and I don't do it myself. But if he does it and he does well with it, then, you know, who am I to judge? So let's keep moving along. We'll take a look at the pound dollar here, GBP, USD. What do you guys think about the pound? Are you guys bullish, bearish? Right now, it's been doing the same thing for me for a while, basically just hovering around this zone. And we went into detail with this the other day on the pound dollar from a perspective of like, I am bullish on this currency pair from a fundamental perspective. However, for now, as things just chop around, there's nothing for me to do just yet. I'm not going to buy a currency pair just because I'm bullish on it fundamentally. I've still got to see the technicals line up and things look good enough for me to want to buy into this. Something like this, could be in the books. So, a retest. I just like pullbacks, right? I'm interested in pullbacks. Now, from a day trading perspective, until this thing breaks, there might be just, this move here back to support. If you are bearish on the pound dollar, I would just be cautious because you do have a lot of areas where buyers seem to be strong enough to hold their own, right? You've got this level here just south of price. So if you are a bear on the pound dollar, if you think this thing is headed lower, I would just say, like, the one thing I would be looking for if I was a bear from a technical perspective, which I'm not, would love to start seeing, if I was to sell this thing, I'd be interested in seeing some lower lows and some lower highs, right? Some nice breaks of structure just to show that sellers are taking control. I don't like to sell something that is in a strong uptrend until it shows signs that uptrend is ending, right? I wouldn't be interested in shorting this thing because, again, the buyers are in control. And as long as buyers are in control, it can go a lot higher than people anticipate. Again, people have probably been shorting this thing from here and from here and from here. And just the nature of new traders, they hold on to losers a lot of times. So they're sitting there in a massive drawdown, trying to work their way out and just hoping and praying that this thing will go back down. And as we know, hoping and praying is not a trading strategy. That is a gambling strategy, right? And so we don't want to be doing that. We want to have a plan and a way to correct ourselves if we are wrong fairly quickly. So that's what I got on the pound dollar. Again, the big setups that I've seen on this one right now are still just waiting for that break of 1.42. In that case, I'd be very interested in looking for more upside and trying to trade this thing on the long side. That's just my take on there. We've looked at euro dollar, we've looked at the pound dollar, and we looked at US 30. We'll keep going along today. We got some good stuff to look at, especially with this recent bullishness. Let's look at dollar CAD. I'll show you guys my position. So we'll pull up dollar CAD here. I'm currently short on this thing, and it is going well so far. So here's the 1 hour chart. Took this trade on a pullback. As you guys know, I like those pullbacks. So jumped in here on the short side today, or not today, yesterday. And look at that. It's actually doing what we were hoping for. So congrats to the members, by the way, who also took this trade. I took it last night, and then just like just in a matter of hours, it was in profit. And I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, cool. We're up a couple $100 there, and then it just kept rolling over here in the New York session. So cannot complain. Happy to see this thing rolling over and just going with that fundamental perspective. Also, the technicals lined up, and I love to see this. So in fact, look at that fresh break and pushing lows up $1,200 on this one so far. So not bad. Like I said, for some reason, I'm on a hot streak, and I know as soon as I say that, it's going to go like this. Whoop. Go right back up just to stop me out. But I do have my stop loss locked in at break even. I alerted that to members inside of the private group this morning. And again, just going to let this thing run if it wants to. Would love to see it get back to the lows, which of course are down here at 1.20, let's say 1.2030. If price can get down there, I will definitely be dramatically moving my stop loss lower and trying to lock in this move to see if we can, get that break and continue. If we get this move, for example, this could be a ginormous mover for the account. But again, just going to be patient as I try to always be on this position. I do like the Canadian dollar on the long side right now. And again, just from a breakdown for members who were also interested in dollar CAD, I basically was short bias on the dollar, as I mentioned on the post that I made. I'll pull it up just so we can review it again. Let's see. I'll switch over to this. There it is. Okay. So here's the trade setup. So again, this was an alert that I sent out yesterday. I said I'm taking a short on the dollar CAD as it pulls back. And from a technical analysis perspective, kept it fairly simple here. I basically said, price is pulling back to resistance at 1.2130 with a 25 pips stop loss above. Overall, this currency pair is in a strong downtrend on multiple time frames. And from a fundamental perspective, with concerns around inflation. So in terms of the US dollar first, whoops, I just messed myself up. In terms of the US dollar first, I basically said that with concerns around inflation, the Fed's reluctance to raise rates right now, and I'm currently bearish on the dollar. On the Canadian dollar side, however, I'm bullish on this currency as their economy has been rallying quite well. Their stock market is pushing through all-time highs recently, and their talks of tapering give me a nice catalyst to stay on the bullish side. So I've been bullish on the CAD for like a month, and until things change, I'm just going to stay with that perspective. So my fundamental analysis doesn't change every day. It changes usually like week to week. I might make an adjustment, but in terms of the CAD side, I've been bearish or I've been bullish on the CAD for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's just been paying out. So as long as as long as the CAD wants to continue doing what it's doing, I will happily ride that trend. So again, took that short, put a stop loss above structure just around this area here, somewhere up 25 pips there. Price went against me briefly, but then ultimately saw sellers come in and push this thing past the lows. So not bad so far there on the dollar Canadian. And again, there's what the trade looked like before. And then of course we had the nice rollover. So can't complain, in a good spot there. If you're not already a member and you want to see my trades as well as join our chat rooms, join our coaching calls and everything else, there is a link down below in the description for you to get information there. And then also there's a promo code for people watching the stream to get access. But again, I'm riding that dollar CAD short to see if we can get more downside. I do think that this break here is a big deal. So if we can see this thing hold for a few hours, we could see something like this, which would be ideal for the short-sided traders. If you're long in the dollar CAD, I don't know. I have a tough time being long on this because let's look at some information for the VIP members out there who are also watching dollar CAD. We're going to do just an extra bit of analysis here. So let's look at the Forex retail sentiment first. Let's go take a look at the dollar Canadian dollar and see what people are doing. So right now, in terms of retail traders, right, this is information that you guys can get for free on the website, a1trading.com. You've got 14% of retail traders are short. 85% of retail traders are long. And you might say, well, Nick, why won't you be long? If everybody's getting long, why don't you want to get long? And the reason is because this data comes from myfxbook.com, which tells us what retail traders are doing. Retail traders lose money. 95+% of people who get involved in this stuff lose their money. And so if 85% of those people are long on the currency pair, I am more likely to want to be short. right? It's not me trying to be mean or anything like that. This is just a market. And it's just the reality is that there's winners and losers. And if we know that most of retail is losing money, I don't want to buddy up with them. I'd rather be against them. So I am currently short on this currency pair. I'm in the minority in terms of the short sellers on the dollar CAD. So that is a nice confluence that makes me more convinced to be on the short side of dollar CAD. That's part number one. Part number two is we'll take a look at the Canadian dollar. I believe, whoops, I went to the wrong place. We'll go back here and look at COT reports and see if we can find out some information about the CAD. All right, so the Canadian dollar, we'll pull this guy up and see if we can find out some information about the COT reports. I actually have not looked at them in a minute, so let's see if there's any new information. Yeah, and look at that. Just beautiful accumulation by the big boys buying the CAD. So naturally, I want to be with the smart money, not the I hate to call them dumb money because I've been in the dumb money crowd. I don't like being called it dumb money. So, but the dumb money out there, the small traders who are not making money, the reality is that, I'd rather be on the side of these guys who are big institutions. They do their research, they're professional, and they're buying the CAD. So for me, dollar CAD is just a short, right? We also know that, actually, I'm not sure what's the dollar doing. Is the dollar also accumulating, or is it being sold off in terms of COT report data? Let's look. So yeah, it's sort of flat / negative. And again, this just lines up even more with why I am short biased on the dollar CAD. You've got this dollar being sold off, the CAD being bought up by institutional traders. And again, retail is net short. So all of these things combined, I'm pretty bearish on this currency pair and very happy to hold on to it and to let it run. Hope that's helpful to the members out there who are watching the dollar CAD with me. It's a little bit more insight on the trade, but again, just holding this thing and seeing if it can run lower. And from there, I will trail stops further and see if we can turn it into a bigger profit. With that said, we'll move on to another one. Phil says sentiment is a good tool to use. It absolutely is, because it just gives you an idea, like what's the average retail trader thinking right now. It's not an easy, Phil, I will add, like, just because retail sentiment is, they're long right now, it doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that it's going to keep going lower. Retail sometimes is right. Even my dad always says, even a blind squirrel can find a nut, right? They're just like, sometimes you just get lucky. And so sometimes retail is right. Most times, from my experience, most time they're not right. So again, that is what it is. Enzo Buds, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Got some people who have different recommendations. Euro CAD, dollar Swiss, CAD yen, CAD Swiss. We're looking at the CAD right now, so we'll move on to another currency pair. Let's see if we can look at maybe dollar Swiss for just a moment here and see what's going on with the old Swissy. Look at that. Dollar Swiss pushing higher today, breaking out of resistance. The dollar's gaining some strength here, especially against the Swiss franc. Is the Swiss franc weak or is the dollar strong? Let's go look. Currency heat map for just a second. We'll pull this up. So the Swiss franc is weak today. And so relatively speaking, the dollar is having a good day. So interesting stuff there. So yeah, the dollar Swiss breaking out of resistance here pretty nicely. And yeah, I think that if you're long bias on the dollar, if you're just super short biased on the Swiss franc, maybe there's some retest opportunities here on the 1 hour. And then also you have pretty notable spot here. So a couple areas to think about here on the dollar Swiss. This area could act as demand on the retest. That might be something if you're long biased to think about. Something like this could be interesting. But just some thoughts there. I don't know. I think it's time, you guys. I think it's time for gold. We'll pull up XAU, USD. And as you know, can we get some gold gangs in the chat? Hashtag gold gang. Drop it in the chat if you're a fan of gold, or if you just want to drop a gold gang in the chat, that's cool too. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, before we jump into gold, do me a big favor. If you like this content, if it helps you in any way, shape, or form, just drop a like on the stream. It's free to do, and it really does help what we are doing here, which is providing free, realistic trading content. Like that's our goal. I will always keep it real with you guys. And so if that is helpful to you, drop a like. It really does help us out with what we're trying to do here. All right, we got some hashtag gold gangs in the chat. So thank you guys for that. We got Goldie Gang, Gold Gang. Awesome, guys. All right, we're taking a look at gold here. So this is XAU USD. We're looking at the 1 hour chart. We'll start here and then see if there's anything else. So right now, gold seems to be pulling back a little bit on these lower time frames, but really, I probably would be more interested, if anything. Maybe there was a setup here, but that's a little bit tough to say you would have gotten in on. But for me, you got this nice little uptrend overall on gold, pulling back here a little bit today. Could be an interesting spot here at 1885, something in this range could be worth noting if you're a super bull and you're trying to short term trade this thing. And then if you're more patient, if you're looking for a bigger pullback, let's talk about this. I've talked about this deeper retracement here could be really interesting. If we had, like, say, a week of sell pressure on gold, which is possible when you get these big trends to the upside, sometimes there's a reversal for a little while before the buyers step back in. You could get this move back to 1850, 1840, somewhere in there. Could be a nice pullback opportunity. Let's draw in some fibs just to add some extra ideas here. Yeah, so that brings you back down to the 0.5, the 50% retracement, looking pretty interesting there. Could be worth looking at. I could see myself possibly picking up some gold on a retracement back to that point. And then from there, just seeing if we can continue that uptrend. I am bullish on the gold market. The COT report numbers or data is looking good for gold right now. Big institutional traders seem to be buying it. And so for the time being, still bullish. Although I wouldn't rush to buy it at the highs. Like, I wouldn't be buying up here. I'd be interested in buying on a dip if you're a day trader. Maybe there's some pullbacks lower time frame wise. And then for me, more as a swing trader, something like that. Some pullback to that 50% could look really good. So gold really does not like to give confirmation before it takes off. I don't think it can even make it to 1840 for a retest. Ryan, honestly, like, sometimes I feel the same way. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this thing does not even take a pause. And by the time you're trying to wait for a retest, you miss the move. And that is very true. But there's also times where, for me, from a risk to reward perspective, I don't just trade gold. I trade lots of different things. So if I don't get that retest, I'm not gonna cross my arms and start crying, because I'll just be like, you know what? Next time, if it comes back, if it gives me that setup, I can get a great risk to reward setup, and that would be ideal, right? So for me, I'm saying something like this: if price were to retest enough, I could get a really good risk to reward on that setup. Let's just assume this is the top for the moment, and we come back all the way down to this point. Something like this gives me a great risk to reward. And so even though, like you said, it might not actually happen, and it's gold seems to just run and run and run, it does eventually take a pause. And when it pauses, if you are bullish, there might be some great setups on the retracement that give you great risk reward. Because if you check this out, like, if I was to buy right now from a swing trading perspective, like with a decent size risk reward, like if I was to buy, just saying, like, right here, right? If I said, oh, well, it looks like it bottomed out for the day, and I want to keep stops down here, the thing is, you're asking for quite a bit just to get a 2-to-1, right? You're asking for price to not only rally past the highs of the year, or at least the highs of, is it the high of year? What is the high of year? Let's look. No, it's not the high of year. So the high of year was like 1950. So so you're asking for like a rally past this recent high and a little bit more just to even, get into a nice profitable situation. However, if you're looking at the pullback, the reason I like pullback so much is that you're saying, okay, well, that discount gets me in here, and then you might have a big influx of buyers, and then we still might do that whole move, right? And in that case, look at that move compared to this move. To me, that's like worth the wait. I'd either miss the trade and trade something else, or I'd wait for this setup and be like, ooh, this is great. I like that long setup a lot. Does that make sense? That's just my opinion. And again, like you said, it seems to not take too many pauses. But again, right now, that's what you're seeing. Right now, you see just this absolute flow into gold. But there are times where it's not so, one directional. It's not so decisive. Like, check this out. You had some great setups here. You had break, retest, break, retest, break, retest, right? You had plenty of opportunities in this case to be looking for pullbacks on that move. So even though, this was a nice move here overall, just, chasing or jumping into it without being patient enough actually could have resulted in some not great trades. So for example, let's say that you don't want to wait for this retest, and so you buy it like here, like you're like, oh, this is enough of a dip, it's going to keep rallying. You take on a pretty large risk to reward very quickly, or a larger risk relative to your reward fairly quickly. I guess it just depends how you're choosing to enter and exit, and that's like up to you. But from my perspective, like I would rather just wait for wait for the dip, let some fresh buyers come in, and then that's where I'm looking to jump in. Emily says you can send her a message if you have questions about our VIP group, by the way. I talked about it briefly on camera, but if you have any questions or you need any help, you can send a message to Emily using the link that she dropped in the chat. You can head over to our website and go to the contact page on our site. It's on the menu there. You just click contact and you can send her a message and she'll help you out. And she's nice, so she'll take care of you. So with that said, that's probably most of what I have to say with gold for now. Again, I think that one more thing to say is that I do think that sometime here by the end of the year, we should see a move 1950, especially if that dollar weakness continues. I think that gold could head higher, especially with all that inflation concerns. So for me right now, gold is bullish, but I'd be waiting for a pullback to get involved. Okay, let's move on and take a look at AUD USD here, see what's going on with the Aussie. Look at this thing. This thing is so choppy. I was trying to trade it for a little while here. I took a loss here. I took a loss or a break even. I can't remember there. And then that's pretty much it. So during this whole chop, I haven't been able to really trade the Aussie like I've wanted to. I've been waiting for this break here to the upside, something like this here. I've talked about this a few times on stream. Watching for the break of this resistance is pretty much my main focus on the Aussie at this time. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart. If we do see this thing bottom out and start to push higher, something like this would be the ideal situation with that target that I've mentioned a couple of times on stream at 0.8. Where did my 0.8 go? It got removed. Let me go add that. So looking at the daily perspective, the 0.8 level is what I am watching on this currency pair right now. The 0.8 more specifically is a pushback to the high there of the last several months. I think it's the high of year. Let's see. Is that the high of year? Yeah, that's got to be the high of year. So the high of the year there at 0.8, I think that price is probably headed back there as well. Especially this is all based on that bearish thesis on the dollar right now. So we will see if that can happen. Again, something like this from a bigger picture is where I'm looking to get involved with on the Aussie dollar. Shout out, by the way, to our friends on Facebook as well. We got people watching over on Facebook right now and on the secondary channel. We've got another stream happening right after this one with another guest. Her name is Lindsay, and I'm excited to see what she's got. She's a new guest for our channel, and she's going to be sharing some thoughts and ideas in terms of trading setups. She trades some other things that I don't trade, like US 30 and other stuff. So make sure to tune into that secondary stream today. You can find out more information. There's a link down below in the description. It's the second link in the description. Subscribe to our secondary channel there, and we'll be live on that channel in about 30 minutes or so. Euro pound? Sure, we'll take a look at euro pound. Euro pound finding resistance here nicely and looking pretty sell heavy today. It does look like it has the willpower at least to try and push lower. We'll take a look at the 4-hour view. So yeah, finding sellers up in this area. Nice little bounce off this trend line here. And does look like it is probably headed back downwards here. One more thing to watch for maybe the intraday traders on euro pound. I probably wouldn't be buying this because, again, we're putting in lower highs. Things are looking bearish from a structural perspective. But maybe something like this, maybe something here could be very interesting on euro pound. I like this pair to the downside, although right now I'm kind of bullish on both. So it's not like my favorite one to be trading. Again, right now, dollar CAD, CAD Swiss, pound dollar. Those are some of my more interesting currency pairs at this time. But again, we've got some demand here just below where price is currently at. If price can get below that, however, could be an interesting scenario. So something like this, right? Let me get a sell position idea. So something like this could be worth watching. So, you've got this demand here at the low. more specifically at about 0.85. So if we were to see this break and close underneath and you get some sort of retest of price, stuff like this, right? I like that. That's a scenario I can see myself looking for a trade setup on the downside of euro pound. We'll take a look just for fun. We'll take a look at the retail sentiment on this currency pair as well. Retail Forex sentiment on the website. You can use this anytime you want. For the newer viewers, a1trading.com. You can use all of our tools there for free. Let's look for euro pound. There it is. Euro pound is mostly long right now. So you've got 74% of traders on the retail side, the side that loses money. 74% are long. So if anything, I'm looking to be short, which goes again with my concept here of looking for that trend. And actually, Frank and I were talking about this. And we were saying that, a lot of times what you'll notice, it's a pattern. Usually when something is trending strongly to the downside, you see retail traders trying to buy it. When something is trending strongly to the upside, you see retail traders trying to short it. And so a lot of times you can kind of, know what the retail sentiment is going to be just naturally. It seems like retail traders are oftentimes going against the trend out there. So something like this, again, I like that setup. Looks pretty good just to continue down back to the lows. Comment, by the way, right now, if you guys want something looked at, chat it in the chat box, and I'll try and pull up something else from the crowd. We'll see what you guys want to look at. We looked at gold, we looked at the euro dollar, the pound dollar, the Aussie dollar. If you guys have any other suggestions, pull them up, and I'll try and get them up on the screen. Gold is dropping, fundamentally supported. If you mean for a buy, I would say yes, but that is my, opinion. You guys already know, like this stream, I'm not here to give you signals. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm here to share my thoughts and opinions on these markets. And that is all. Okay, what's pound flying today? Pound yen flying today, dollar yen, New Zealand dollar, bonds, NAS 100. Okay, got some good suggestions. We'll take a look at pound yen just for a moment, just to see what's going on with that one. All right, GBP, JPY, look at that. This is just an example of something that retail has been so short on this thing for literally probably a year. Like for a year, retail traders have been short on the pound yen over and over again. Every time I've checked retail sentiment on the pound yen, people are short. And the reason I pull that up is because this thing has been in just a monstrous uptrend. So there's been so many people who have probably gotten smoked shorting this thing and trying to hold on to it forever and hoping that it'll come back down. And again, like we said, hoping and praying is not a trading strategy. So, I say that as a joke, but I'm also serious because a lot of people are out there. They're just like, please go down. I will get crushed if you don't go down soon. And that's just a dangerous approach to trading. And it is almost inevitable that if you hold on to losers for long enough, then you could run into some serious problems. Don says it's flying to Mars. It does look like it is trying to, we'll draw it in. Here's Mars, right? Mars has craters on it, right? So it kind of looks like the moon, honestly. So whether it's the moon or Mars, it looks like the pound yen is almost there. So we're almost to Mars. We've got a rocket ship here. It's blasting off and it's almost there. So you can basically say that pound yen is at the moon. So with that said, where do we go from here? Is the pound yen going higher? Is it going lower? Is it going to finally top out? Well, similar to my thoughts on gold, I'm bullish on this currency pair, but I'm not going to buy it just at the highs. So I wouldn't be buying here, right? I wouldn't be buying at this level. In fact, I wouldn't be shorting either, right? I would probably just be sitting there waiting for that setup that I'd really like, which is probably a pullback to demand, right? You've got a couple different pullback levels that we've drawn from weeks past. So I would love to see, for me to get long in this, I'd love to see, a week of sell pressure on the pound yen. Pullbacks to major areas. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm saying that is what would get me involved, would be a pullback. I can't buy at the highs. This just goes against my strategy. So for me, a pullback to support would be where I'd be interested. But again, when you have something like this, it's just a chugging uptrend. It's just a strong, powerful uptrend. I wouldn't be shorting it by any means. I would not even come close to trying to sell this thing. GJ is approaching 2018 highs, says Ricky. Yeah, man, this thing is just a monster. Let's look at it on a day trade perspective because people are probably riding this thing on a lower time frame as well. Let's pull this up and see if we can look at this. We broke out here. If you're short term, there might be something like this. Just trading the pullback there to broken resistance. You had sellers come in pretty heavy here. Finally broke through there at the 154.8 level. But yeah, looking for just more upside there in the short term. There might be some day trading opportunities. But again, for me, if I'm trading this thing, I'm looking for a pullback to support on the higher time frames. Okay, CAD yen is going to be our next one, which is also running higher here. Love it. Love to see it, you guys. Dollar CAD is moving like crazy, and I'm going to look at that in just a moment to give you guys a fresh look at that. We are testing resistance here. If price can get past that, that could be a big deal. Look at these movements on the yen pairs today. Something just happened with the yen absolutely dropping, and the CAD looking so strong right now. I got my trade up on the other side. After this stream, I will be trailing my stops for sure. For those of you guys who are watching my trades inside of the private group, private Discord, I shared that dollar CAD trade, and it is just, of course, doing the thing. All right, so yeah, CAD yen at resistance. Let's look at dollar CAD because this thing is doing its thing. So we're up $1,400 on this trade right now. This is real money. You guys know I don't mess around with fake stuff or anything like that. I'm logged into my trading view. Some people were asking me, how do you log into your trading view? You have to have a broker that is integrated and partnered with TradingView, which I use Oanda, which is partnered with TradingView. You can see it down there at the bottom, Oanda Live. So yeah, things are working out nicely so far on this dollar CAD move. After the stream ends, you guys, I'm gonna, for those of you guys who are in the private group, I'm gonna probably be trailing stops and letting things go, trying to trail in some profits here. So again, be on the lookout for that. I'll drop updates inside of the chat room for you guys. Yeah, so cool stuff, man. This thing is just on a tear. USD ZAR, sure, why not? We have Emmanuel, aka the African Forex professor, coming on tomorrow on the secondary channel, and he's going to be doing some more exotic currency pairs. So if you guys like the exotics, make sure to subscribe to our other channel and tune into that stream each week. Very, very worth doing. He's got some good insights on some of these exotic currencies like the Mexican peso, South African rand, things like that, Russian ruble, all these other different ones that we don't usually look at. Dollar ZAR is just in a strong downtrend here as the dollar is very weak, and the rand is looking good. You can see this thing has just been in a sell structure over and over and over, just holding, and still going lower. I really don't have any trade setups here. Similar to the other things that I said, if I was to short this thing, I'd be looking for a pullback, something like this. And that is pretty much it. But dang, man, that dollar CAD, I got to keep an eye on it because it's just running. So really, really cool to see. Took that trade, like I said, last night on the 1 hour chart. Sold it here, put a 25 pip stop loss, and sure enough, trailed that thing in. And now after the stream, I'm gonna have to trail stop losses up. So congrats to the other traders inside of the private group who are in dollar CAD. Is anybody in the who? If you're in the private group and you're in dollar CAD, let me know in the chat. That'd be awesome to see. USD try. USD try. I just have no interest in because number one, it's in a super strong uptrend. So dollar try. The Turkish lira. So the Turkish lira has all sorts of issues, right? They have some serious problems with inflation and problems in their government. And you can see that the dollar is just dominating the Turkish lira. But I also don't like how cost heavy this is. The swaps on this thing are pretty nasty if you're holding it on the long side, and they're pretty nice if you're holding on the short side. But again, the short side is tough because this thing isn't just a massive uptrend, right? So I can't see myself shorting this thing because of the uptrend, but I can't see myself longing this thing because of the terrible swaps. So right now, this is just not an interest for me. I like dollar ZAR because it's in a downtrend and the dollar looks weak against it and it pays nicely, but cool stuff there. AXD Music says he got in on Dollar CAD with me. Awesome. If you guys caught that move, then seriously, congrats. Dollar CAD is on fire, says Brad. Isan is in the group, says he rode Dollar CAD as well. Phil is in there. Nice, guys. Worked well at the strat, so I entered. Nice. In Dollar CAD on a demo. Hey, Tony, no problems in that. No shame in trading a demo account. People want to rush to real money and then they lose their real money. So no problem. Pete says, check out the VIP community. It's amazing. Thanks for that feedback. Glad that you're enjoying it. If you guys aren't already in the private group, like I said, I share all of my trades, win and loss. Lately, I've been having some good trades. We'll see if that can continue or not, but things have been going really well. And so if you're in the private group and you caught this, then congrats. It's awesome. It's not a signal service. So I'm not telling you like, oh, go buy it. I'm telling you, or go sell it. I'm telling you like, this is what I'm doing. Here's why. What you choose to do is up to you. But cool to see that like Phil said, it matched up with his strategy. You got all these different traders that are using different strategies and such, and they're benefiting just from talking and working together with other members. That's honestly the biggest value I see in a private community is you have people who are collaborating, sharing ideas, working together, jumping on the live coaching calls inside of the private group and et cetera. So shout out to our friends inside of the VIP. The VIP community is fantastic, very educational, and a nice group for Forex discussions. Glad to hear it. Is the private group free? No, it's not, unfortunately. That is how we keep the lights on to pay the bills, as well as, we had, actually long time ago, the private group was free. I had a free chat room and everything was free. But then inevitably what happened is you had people who were spamming links and trying to do all this nonsense and stuff. You had people who were not serious in there, who were just like looking to just copy other people and they didn't care about, any of that. You had people who were just like, just not good fits, right? The thing is, when you put a small fee on a chat room, the quality goes up tremendously for the people that actually are in there. Because when you put a small fee, people feel like they are invested, literally invested, and also just mentally invested. And that's where you start getting better conversations. You get people in there who want to be in there and they are serious about this stuff. So I wish it could be, free for everyone. But again, in order to maintain like the integrity of the group, a small fee goes a long way. So again, it's only like $45 if you use the discount code that's in the description. You can try it out for a month and see if it is a fit for you. I would encourage you to do so. We have a staff of people that are paid to manage that. So that is also where the fees go as well. So, we're trying to create the best community for Forex traders. So if you're interested, that's how you get access. It's down below in the description. With that said, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. We have another call starting in just a few minutes, or another stream starting with Official Lens. She's going to be coming on our secondary channel. There's a link down below if you'd like to subscribe to that other one, and we will be live in about 10 minutes with her and see what she has for us in terms of trade setups and ideas. So if you tuned in late and you still want to watch live, again, she's going to be jumping on the call with us in just a bit. So head over to our second channel, A1 Trading on YouTube, and we will be live over there in just a few. Guys, thank you so much. Again, check out the group if you're interested in joining, and we will see you guys back in the next one. Have a good rest of